formal and informal. In this video, I will go through the difference between formal and informal language. It's important to know the difference as it will affect your style of language in writing and speech. First, think about your audience. Who are you talking or writing to? We use formal language in professional situations or important situations. For example, if you are giving a presentation at work, talking to your colleagues, or if you're writing a letter to your boss. We use informal language in unprofessional situations. For example, when you are talking to your family or friends that you know very well. This includes face-to-face conversations, texting, or even letters and emails. Now, let's look at the difference between formal and informal language. With formal language, we use full sentences with the correct grammar and vocabulary, whereas informal language generally contains short sentences and lacks formal grammar and vocabulary. Contractions are shortened versions of words, and we usually place an apostrophe where the letter is missing. We don't use contractions in formal language, whereas we use contractions in informal language. For example, in formal language, we can say I would, whereas with informal language, we can use the contraction I'd. Idioms are expressions used in English. We don't use idioms in formal language, whereas we can use them in informal language. The passive voice is used in formal language and the active voice is used in informal language. For example, the application form is complete versus I completed the application form. Phrasal verbs are phrases that have a verb and a preposition or adverb. Phrasal verbs have different meanings to the individual words themselves. We can use phrasal verbs in informal language, however, we don't use phrasal verbs in formal language. Instead, we use other words that mean the same thing. For example, with informal language, we can use the phrasal verb look into. This means to investigate or to research something. Abbreviations are shortened versions of words. Abbreviations aren't used in formal language, however, they can be used in informal language. Exclamation marks are also not used in formal language, whereas they can be used in informal language. And lastly, imperatives are sentences that start with a verb and generally give a command or instruction. We don't use imperatives in formal language, however, we can use imperatives in informal language. Now, let's look through two examples so you can understand the difference. Formal. Dear Sir, Madam, I am writing to complain about an incident that occurred in your restaurant on the 26th of the 9th, 2020. While my family and I were enjoying our meal, we overheard staff members arguing in the restaurant. This type of behaviour is extremely unprofessional and particularly distressing for my kids to have to hear. My family and I have been regular customers at your restaurant for years, and we hope that we can continue to enjoy your service. I trust that you will investigate this matter and take the necessary actions required to ensure customer satisfaction. I look forward to hearing from you. As you can see from this example, I have used all the elements required. There are full sentences which are grammatically correct. I've also used good vocabulary. There are no contractions, no idioms, no phrasal verbs, no abbreviations, no exclamation marks, or imperative sentences. Now let's look at an informal example. Hello, let me tell you what happened when I visited your restaurant last week. I'm a regular there. I came to the restaurant with my family. The food was on point, but then we heard your staff shouting really loudly. This put me off my food. I mean, come on, is that professional? My child got upset. I was very angry. You need to look into this matter, please. Do what is needed to make sure your customers are happy. Please reply ASAP. So, now I'm sure you can see the difference between formal and informal language. With the informal example, there are short sentences and grammatical errors. I've used contractions, idioms, phrasal verbs, abbreviations, exclamation marks, and an imperative sentence. As I'm writing to the manager of a restaurant, I want to sound professional and respectable. Therefore, formal language is better to use.